Shut up, Smarks. Ring Ross Redux. No, I won't tap out. I won't tap out. All of you bastards suck. Just stop watching Raw. Stop watching Raw. So what I'm going to do is, since actually there's 3 shows there's a bunch of shows actually. Now that if I want to get right down to it and be super accurate, there's a metric poop ton of shows on WrestleMania weekend. But the 2 I'm going to be talking about primarily will be, of course, WrestleMania and NXT Takeover Orlando, which takes place at the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida, and it will be streamed live on the WWE Network. So we got 4 matches so far. It's usually only a 2-hour show. So what they'll usually do is put 2 or 3, dark matches on, and then they'll record them and they'll play over the next, 2 weeks of NXT. And of course, TakeOver has more theme songs than WrestleMania, which is, I still don't get that. It just seems wrong that the 4, possibly 5-hour WrestleMania, with now a 2-hour pre-show, has 1, maybe 2 theme songs. And any given iteration of TakeOver has, 4 songs, at least 4 songs. People must be really scrambling to get their music associated with WWE, specifically NXT. So, I'm not really complaining, I'm just sort of scratching my head about it. It just seems counterintuitive that the smaller show would have more songs. Why would a smaller show require more theme songs? Maybe, I can't even speculate. So anyway, enough of that. Let's just get to the 4 matches. You know what I do. We'll talk about a particular match and then I'll play a song related to that match. Usually the theme song of the person who I think is going to win. So here we go. And as I usually do, even though TakeOver Orlando is next weekend, it's so close to the live edition of Ring Rust, and therefore would be kind of overlapping with the podcasted version of Ring Rust. I figure it's just as well to preview it now, give you a week to think about it, or a week to process, the what I'm saying, and enjoy the music and whatnot. And so, it just seems like same with Ring of Honor. I believe Supercard of Honor is that weekend as well. I don't think I'm going to be talking too much about Ring of Honor anymore, at the very least previewing and reviewing their pay-per-views, because they're on for 1 hour every week. That's something I can't even really fathom. A wrestling company is broadcasting once every week, and only for 1 hour. And, the main reason I mention it that way is because I'm not really grasping. I'm not grasping all what the characters are doing. I'm not getting to see enough of them, I think, in order to adequately give a good pre-preview of what's going to be happening on Ring of Honor. There are more than enough radio shows and or podcasts out there for you to listen to if you want to listen to a Ring of Honor specific preview. Knock yourself out. They probably record it on a Wednesday. I don't know when people record podcasts. I know one podcast I listen to records on a Sunday, usually, a Saturday or a Sunday. So that's kind of not good for previewing a pay-per-view, because the pay-per-view is that night, and by the time the show is up, they might do it early, I don't know. So, or they might record it the Sunday before the pay-per-view, which is essentially what I'm doing here. I'm recording this the Friday before the Friday before the weekend of the pay-per-view. So, but I digress. So the first match they got here, again, I said they have 4 matches. I'm just going by the Wikipedia page. I'm just going to go to the bottom and then up to the top, because the main event is number 1, and then, so it's 1 match and then 3 title matches. They have all their titles on the line, and it's only 4 matches on the show. So let's see how this all plays out. Andrade Cien Almas will be taking on Aleister Black in just a singles match, because we need to throw fists at somebody. I need to throw my fist at somebody, and you need to throw your fist at somebody. how are we going to solve our mutual problem? And they just pictured the two of them sitting next to each other on crates or something backstage. How are we going to solve our mutual problem? You know, I kind of don't really like you that much. I kind of don't really like you either. Man, this is some problem, though. There's some problem we mutually have that somehow we can solve. And wait a minute. Well, I guess Aleister Black has to come in against somebody. And I played his theme song last week. So if for no other reason I'm going to predict Andrade Cien Almas is going to win this match. No solid logical reason. But like I said, because I played Aleister Black's theme song last week when I was mentioning that they announced a video package that played announcing he's going to make his debut at Takeover Orlando, and here it is. So, didn't Andrade Cien Almas debut on a Takeover as well? Yes, I believe he did. At a Takeover The End on June 8th of this past year, Andrade made his official debut defeating Ty Dillinger. So, as I recall, they didn't even have a picture of him. They just had one of those vacant title / opponent to be announced pictures there with like the hat on in the silhouette, and that was all you really saw of him. You got his name, and you got, I think, his theme song, and maybe some like shadowy movements. I'm trying to remember the video they played. I think as usual, there wasn't that much in it. I mean, a lot of times they want to preserve the mystery, and they want you to not know what the person's going to look like until they walk down that ramp. And other times they say, "Hey, look at who we signed," and like they're all over the place. Like, and they do more of the surprise thing in NXT, but they have occasionally done like this specific person is coming. Like, say if they wanted to do that for Roderick Strong, they showed Roderick Strong in the ring doing whatever moves and striking whatever poses. I don't remember if that's how he debuted, but it's that kind of thing where they say, hey, we got this person from the independent circuit who you know because you follow the independent circuit as NXT fans. You're aware of the independent circuit, and you say, hey, I'd like to see that person in NXT. I'd like to see that person in NXT. I hope that person never makes it to NXT. Guess who makes it to NXT? Oh, too bad. You get the idea. Generally speaking, I'd say maybe 75% of the time they go with the mysterious, we don't know who this is. They might not even give a name. Like with Ember Moon. I think they just did the vague things. They should like to show the like her off in the distance, just in silhouette, and then and they played a video the next week, slightly advanced on that, and then the next week slightly advanced on that, and then eventually they put her name up, and then eventually, she came out to the ring and we knew what she looked like. I mean, the various people, again, following the independent circuit, knew who she was, so they all knew it was Athena, but still, they didn't know, quote, what Ember Moon looked like, unquote, because, she wasn't Athena anymore, she was Ember Moon, and people who knew her as Athena, I'm sure she announced it on her Twitter page, like, hey, I'm going to be debuting in NXT, this is going to be my name, oh, I wasn't supposed to tell you that, oh well, no women's title for me, I guess, tee-hee. Anyway, yeah, like I said, if for no other reason, then I played Aleister Black's theme song last week, and I'll probably end up playing it in 2 weeks when I pay-per-review Takeover before WrestleMania. That's going to be a hell of a week. That's going to be like the first half hour or 40 minutes maybe of Ring Rust will be me doing Takeover, and then the rest of it will be me doing WrestleMania. So we'll see what happens. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Radio Shrug. Next up for NXT Takeover Orlando from the Amway Center in, wait for it, Orlando, Florida. Because that's what they do. Well, mostly that's what they do. But like I said a minute ago, for when Andrade Cien Almas debuted, he debuted at NXT Takeover The End. So a good bit, however, of their takeovers are named after the city they're taking part in. The Authors of Pain, Akam and Razar, will be defending their NXT Tag Team Championships against DIY, Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, and The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, in a triple threat match. And, yeah, 2 of the 3 teams are really solid tag teams, and the others are the tag team champions. But they have a certain look They wrestle a certain style, and that's what WWE wants to see, I guess. Again, radio shrug. That's what WWE wants to see, is what Akam and Rezar bring to the table. That's what WWE wants as a tag team, or as, as a tag team, I guess, just to specify. As a tag team, that's what they want. So, although they certainly have a rather rich tag team division down there, they're even starting to develop a bit of a women's tag team division, I think. I don't know if they're going to introduce a women's tag team title. Would be interesting. Maybe a WWE Network women's tag team title, where it's only defended on the WWE Network, which is not really, so it's defended on pay-per-view, basically. Or on a streamed event like NXT Takeover or whatever, so I don't know. Like, it's not brand exclusive. Like, maybe the wrestlers themselves who hold the titles will be brand exclusive, but, they can defend the title. Well, I guess once they win those titles, they can go to any show and say, actually, yeah, the post shows are on the network, so they can they can be on the post shows all they want. And they can talk about whoever, and they can start their feuds there, and they can have whoever show up and have Renee Young sit between the women's tag team champions and whoever is challenging for the women's tag team championships. So, after Raw or after SmackDown and 205 Live is on the network as well, although that's specifically for the cruiserweights. But, NXT. So I guess it would be mostly an NXT title, I suppose. Just spitballing here. I don't know if they have enough women on the NXT roster to do it, but I'm pretty sure they have enough women on the WWE overall roster to do it. To just say, okay, these 5 pairs of women will be tag teams, and we'll have you, for the titles, and they'll probably bring in a couple other women tag teams from the independent circuit. Who knows? They might do a whole show like for the United Kingdom Championship or for 205 Live, which was the Cruiserweight Classic when it started. It could work. I mean, anything could work, but, will it work is the question. So, it could work, but would it work? Would the fans go for it? Would the fans turn on it right away? Would the fans give it a fair shake? Would the fans not look at the first 5 minutes of the first match and say, well, there you go, I guess we're not watching this show anymore, and then go watch something else or go to the bathroom or whatever, like they used to do during women's matches? So, I hope it works out. I hope something. I mean, I like the idea of an additional title to give other people on the roster something to vie for, instead of just having people there for the sake of meeting a particular demographic, or for the sake of being eye candy. I mean, if someone's there to be an actual wrestler, they shouldn't be eye candy. If someone's there for eye candy, they probably shouldn't try to be a wrestler. It's commendable when they try. It's doubly commendable when they succeed. It's nice to see people who want to be wrestlers try to be wrestlers, and not hopefully hurt themselves and others, but that's beside the point. I mean, if nothing else, life is pain. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV.
Yes! Yes! Mind-taking! Stick with the kid, baby!
It says right here, diagnosis, fractured ass.
You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. Go to the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page and send me a message there. Or tweet me at Mark Jabroni. Send me a DM. I'll get back to you and let you know more about it. Or I'll more than happy to talk to anybody about any of the songs that I play, if, you're so interested. So the third match they have here for NXT Takeover Orlando on the WWE Network sees Asuka, my secret girlfriend, defending her women's championship against Ember Moon, who's done a good job of showing Asuka, hey, I'm a challenger. I'm here. I'm clear. I don't want any more bears. And I want to challenge you for that title. And Asuka initially didn't take her seriously, and then she took her very seriously. So I'm looking forward to this being as smacktastic a match as any Asuka match has been in the past, and any Ember Moon match has been in the past. Hopefully the thing with the iconic duo from this past week or the week before was only something to establish the devastation of Ember Moon's finisher. We'll see. Who knows? It might end up, two of them might come down to the ring during that match and interfere and cause a disqualification, or make Ember Moon win. Who knows? If they don't like Asuka that much, they'll make Ember Moon win, or they'll hit Ember Moon and get her win by disqualification, or they'll hit Asuka and have her win by disqualification, or I don't know, maybe it'll become a four-way. Maybe Teddy Long will take a moment from basking in his WWE Hall of Fame glory and say, "Hang on, playa. Is that right? Is that the right term? Playas isn't the right term anyway. It's not a real word. I don't know what you're talking about, playa. So, hang on there, playa it's. Playa L's, playa Y's. And he makes a tag team match. And then William Regal comes out and says, Why are you here? You weren't invited. What are you doing making a tag team match on my show? I'm going to make a tag team match on my show, so who knows. And then Triple H comes out and gives him a pedigree and because reasons. Anyway, I do anticipate certainly a very hard-fought match because both wrestlers are hard-fighting wrestlers. I mean, wrestlers are supposed to be hard-fighting, I suppose, but these two are that much more so. Of course, Asuka's undefeated in NXT, and we'll see if that continues. I mean, eventually she has to be defeated, because eventually either they're going to want to move her up to the WWE roster, or she's going to retire, or she's going to get injured, or, something's going to happen. Well, if she gets injured, I guess there's not really much you can do about that. I mean, she's injured in such a way that she can have one more match, and then just, practically hand the title to somebody, I guess, I don't know. One time only, Izzy comes out to wrestle for the... Oh, my God. So, yeah. Oh, my God, Izzy hooking the outer leg. And, oh, my God, we got a new NXT Women's Champion. Defeated Asuka, undefeated, because she got the injury. That would be patently ridiculous, which means, of course, somebody in WWE likes that idea. It's like, hey, Vince, I got this great idea. And, anyway, depending on how far it goes. Well, I don't know if Vince McMahon has much of a say in what happens in NXT. He may be totally hands off and let Triple H do it, in which case the guy's going to go, hey, Triple H, I got this great idea. And then Triple H pedigrees him and, storms off to some Motorhead. And it's a long, convoluted situation. But that's somewhere along in the future. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jabronology TV. And this is the Fanboy Mark Jabroni pre-previewing NXT Takeover Orlando from the Amway Center in Orlando, Florida. And the final match is the main event for the NXT Championship, which sees titleist Bobby Roode defending his title against the returning champion Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, for a similar reason to why I predicted Andrade Cien Almas was going to win his match, literally possibly the stupidest reason anyone can come up with, but it's what I'm going for. I'm going to predict Shinsuke Nakamura will take his title back because I played Bobby Roode's theme last week. So, there's literally no other, there's no, I can probably play one of Bobby Roode's TNA themes. I can play Off the Chain. But, I'd rather listen to Shinsuke Nakamura's theme song right now. Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/ringrust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni.
this week's Macho Fact. Harvard graduated from Randy Savage. And the Macho Man was never hired by WWF or WCW. They just built wrestling rings in his yard and had all their shows there.
You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jobronology TV. So, there's some sad news out of the camp of Jim Ross. Sadly, his wife Jan has passed away while in hospital. So, we here at CHMR and Ring Rust wish our deepest condolences to the WWE Hall of Famer. And hopefully he'll get all the solace from friends and family he'll need to get through this difficult time and come out on the other side a stronger individual. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jobronology TV. WWE wasted another Brock Lesnar date at Monday's Raw in Brooklyn, New York, as the Beast was backstage but not used on TV. The post-show dark segment saw Paul Heyman issue an open challenge, which was accepted by, of course, The Big Show. That's the kind of thing he seems to do. Like, hey, I'm The Big Show. I'm going to accept your open challenge, and ow, my face. The segment saw Lesnar block a chokeslam and leave TBS lying with an F5. So, sure, I guess. If that's how WWE wants to spend their money, or if they actually believe they're getting their money's worth from him just showing up after Raw's off the air, that's their business, I suppose. And, theirs is a multi-billion-dollar business, and yours isn't. Whatever business you run isn't a multi-billion-dollar business, and theirs is. So even if it is a mistake, given that they're human beings, they're entitled to make mistakes. And they're gonna. So are you. It's just the world isn't noticing your mistakes, the world is noticing theirs, but we'll see how it turns out. I'm sure it's not, as bad as they say. Fingers crossed. We get everything we need at WrestleMania to resolve all these issues, and butthurt tosspot internet wrestling fans will forget all about Brock Lesnar not being on Raw. But hey, they may just bend over and apply some ointment and say, oh, that felt like the next big thing. You're listening to Ring Rust Redux on Jobronology TV.
Well, there was the murder of a supervisor, nothing proven. I just thought it was better to move on.
Wow, that's a man kiss.
Ooh, Sprickens is sexy.
You're listening to Wrestling Superstar, the Triple X Sex Express Sexy Eddie, and you're listening to Ring Rust, the one and only wrestling talk radio show.
It's worth noting, apparently, that the only video from this week's Raw to have the YouTube comments disabled was the backstage segment with the New Day, which you can see below on the CHMR's Ring Rust Facebook page. I made it easy for you. Go right on over there, click on like if you haven't already, and give it a video look. It appears that Big E referenced Xavier Woods being in the leaked Page video from this past Friday when he asked Austin Creed if there was something he wanted to tell them. So, sure. Not even sure they really knew each other that well, but, not saying they didn't. Not saying they did. It's interesting, I suppose. And they're the hosts of WrestleMania, so that could be a little extra something that might happen. Paige may come back at WrestleMania. Who knows? She may bring her favorite frenemy AJ Lee with her. Not likely, granted, but anything's possible because New Day rocks. New Day rocks my socks. New Day rocks. New Day rocks my socks.
Like me on Facebook, tinyurl.com/RayRust. Follow me on Twitter @MarkJabroni. And subscribe to Jabronology TV, youtube.com/fanboymarkjabroni.
TMZ Sports caught up with 2017 WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page and asked him about what he thought of the whole Page turn with her phone being stolen and the potential of her photos and videos on that phone being leaked. And I don't think he was asked whether or not Xavier Woods was in any way a part of it. So, radio shrug? You can only imagine what Diamond Dallas Page wants to do to the people who would steal and leak the videos and photos of a fellow wrestler. What he's going to do if he finds himself in a dark alley with the person who would do such a thing. He'd just lean over, I suppose, and just give him a diamond cutter, and then teach him some DDP yoga, because he's all about that. And then he'd probably beat him up and twist him in a pretzel and whatnot.
That's it for another show, kiddies. Check me out on Facebook, where you can keep track of all the news that's right on the mark, from around ringside to the latest concerts. See you at the shows. Later days.